I would rub anything.
That's cute.
So they said no.
Okay, fiber lovers, I just discovered the Adirondack Wool and Art Festival, and let's talk about it. Hello, shepherds, welcome back. And if you're new here, hello. This is where we talk all things sheepy. And today, I'm in the heart of Adirondacks, where agriculture meets artistry in the most fluffiest of ways. I heard about this festival last year, so with Fiber Festival season winding up, I was super excited to see what all the hype was about. Pulling up at the gate, parking is free. The volunteers at the festival really made a difference in making sure everything went smoothly. The ground was packed. I went to a Ren fair earlier and some cars got stuck in the deep mud, as in like up to their chassis deep. So I could see any type of car handling the drive here without getting stuck parking, should the weather ever turn. So before the fair was open, a line was building up really quickly, but once the gates opened, it moved really fast. The entrance fees were $5 per adult, with small children being free. Most people, as soon as they entered, hanged a hard left to the various side buildings. So in an effort to avoid all the crowds, I turned right in search of animals, and I wasn't disappointed. But let's go ahead and start off. Spanning across several buildings, this is a 2-day festival that has over 100 local artisan booths, celebrating everything fiber arts focused. From natural dye plants and commercial dyes, to sheep and goat milk skincare products, various wool products and equipment. The area is wheelchair accessible, barring the wagon rides. I tend to worry about falling more because of these old injuries that never healed right. And so the things that stuck out to me is how the aisles were pretty wide, the booths had for the most part a lot of space to walk easily, and the pathways were easy to walk, or they were level, wide, and firm. Sometimes I find festivals like Rhinebeck or the Maryland Sheep and Wool to be a little overwhelming or overstimulating, and it helps to go with a plan. This festival, though, is spaced out enough that it just sucks all those people up. And there's still enough going on, though, to get lost in the sauce. But there's still plenty of seating in the shade and the sun, indoors and out, whatever suits you or the weather, should you get tired or need just a little bit of a break. My youngest pointed out how there's these neat flags hanging from the roof, but because they're creative and noticing the anatomical differences of animals, pointed out particularly dairy goat representation. I thought it was cute and very dirt. How about you? So let's run down the stars of the show. To me at least, the sheep and goats. They were housed in separate buildings. On Saturday, there was a Cashmere Goat show, and on Sunday is the sheep show. Unfortunately, I lost track of time enjoying the sheep shearing talk and missed the show. At the sheep shearing tent, the team first started with the hand crank shears, interspersed with some classic fleece jokes, and then, after some time, moving on to the hand shears. He was shearing a small flock of Hampshire sheep. They were housed nearby the shearing shed, and alongside one pole barn, there was an aisle of various sheep breeds. Some were for sale, just in case someone's tempted to take the fiber plunge and become a shepherd. In the first pen I approached was a beautiful Gotland sheep. The Gotlands are a northern short-tailed breed, a heritage breed whose bloodlines date back to the Viking era. They're known as a dual-purpose breed and said to have a mild, flavorful meat, and as a long wool sheep breed, their fleece is very fine, long, lustrous, and dense, with this beautifully defined curl. In the same pen were 2 California red sheep, another dual-purpose breed known for its excellent meat production. Unlike the sheep that I have, California red sheep ewes can lamb out of season or year-round, which is pretty fun. Lying down next to the other sheep is the Icelandic lamb, also a northern European short-tailed breed. And one of the fun things about Icelandics is that they're double-coated. So in one sheep you have a durable outer coat to spin with and the fine undercoat for delicate projects. In this pen we have a Finn sheep, also called the Finnish landrace, or Finns for short. They're originally from Finland, and also another northern European short-tailed sheep breed. They're renowned really for their multiple births. I think the world record is 8 or maybe it was 10 lambs, but it's not uncommon for a ewe to have 3, 4, or even 5 lambs at the same time. The Finns are a fine long wool breed and considered by many a triple-purpose breed, so milk, meat, and wool producer. Here we have the Romneys. There's natural colored Romneys as well as white Romneys. And they're a pretty popular breed around the world. They're a fine long wool breed with low grease, which affects not only their wool yield, but also meat flavor. They're considered a dual-purpose breed, and they're pretty large too, to me at least. Next up we have the border Leichester sheep. The wool is still growing in here, but the sheep grow really long, lustrous locks of wool. You can kind of see it hopefully here through the camera, and they have this distinct Roman nose and erect bunny-style ears. They're naturally polled, both rams and ewes, and often are raised for both meat and wool. Their wool has a lowish grease content, and personally, the fine luster of the wool is just so next level. In the pole barn right next to the sheep were the Cashmere Goats, and we have so much variety here in color and coats, horns, and even the eyes have a lot of range from brown to blue. Cashmere is a soft, downy undercoat, and it's different from the fiber that you get from the Angora goats, who don't have cashmere down. So the club had some samples nearby of both cashmere fibers, but other fibers as well. So you can compare and touch and learn about this beautiful breed. Further out, there was an ag museum and kid pumpkin decorating area, right next to our local band. The building was pretty empty at first, and there was a moth in the pathway, so it was nice to relocate it to a safer resting spot before a crowd moved over to the building. As part of our own family tradition, there's some key festival foods that we kind of bingo card off. One of those is kettle corn, so we got a bag or two of kettle corn. It was so delicious. And the food varied from mac and cheese, French fry buckets, hot dogs, coffees, and more, all ranging from $2 to $3 for drinks and $4 to $11 and up for our food staples. Near the used equipment auction was a pickup location for the horse-drawn carriage rides, operated on a donation basis. I don't know much about horses, so I was really happy when another person on the ride had some horsey experience and asked some poignant questions about breeds, breed history of the horses, and their particular origin story. It was so relaxing to hear the clippity-clop of the horses, and of all the wagon rides I've experienced, this one definitely ranks the best wagon ride I have ever been on. Overall, I thought it was a pretty well balanced between the big groups of fiber art niches, with a lot of selection in roving, yarn, knitting, crochet, felting, spinning, and weaving supplies. By the middle of the first day, the fleece still only had 2 bags of wool left, so I can see why at opening there were several people beelining it to the shops. I kind of tend to focus on what's available if you're actively working as a creative, but it was pretty balanced out with heirloom quality, finished, knitted, crocheted, and woven fiber products too. And then as we traveled around the fairgrounds, it was so inspiring to see all the outfits and project kits too. There's so much temptation. I ended up buying some madder and indigo powder, some pH test strips, and a madder seed packet, and tons of snacks. So hopefully I'll be able to expand my dyer's garden next year and keep our ducks from eating all the dye plants. They can really eat the weirdest things, like tomatoes. Anyway, so okay, fiber lovers, if you've made it this far, an extra special thank you. I appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this dose of fiber, hit that subscribe button and the bell, where we explore a sheep-focused lifestyle every week. Ta-tas!